Namaste and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamajit, so glad you could join me this evening. So tonight, this marks the second in our series honoring the Kali Nitya goddesses. So tonight we'll be honoring the second of the Kali Nityas, Ma Kali Kapalini. And Kapalini means female skull carrier. I'd like to begin with a couple of announcements, though. So first, a week from today, we'll be doing a Yoga Nidra meditation. Tuesdays at 7 o'clock, we'll be continuing with our Gentle Yoga Chakra series. This coming Tuesday, we'll be honoring the third eye chakra, Agnya chakra. The final Friday of the month, we'll be doing the third of the Kali Nitya series, and that'll be the goddess Kula. So if you take a look on my YouTube channel, last night I posted an introductory video for our practice tonight, just a little bit of basic information on this form of the Divine Mother, and I'm going to go through some things about that presentation and just make some comments about that before we actually begin tonight. So just a reminder from the last time, the Kali Nityas are a collection of 15 goddesses who are different aspects of Ma Kali. And they correspond with the 15 nights of the waning lunar cycle. So the second of the Kali Nitya goddesses is Kapalini. And if you take a look at the presentation, there's an illustration of her. So her name means female skull carrier. I've also seen the translation of skull girl. And I found this illustration for that particular slide. So I'd like to talk about her main attribute, which is the Kapala. And the Kapala, which is her skull cup, is an offering bowl that is fashioned from a human cranium. And if you take a look at the illustration on that particular slide, we see Kali holding the skull cup and catching the blood from the severed head of a demon. And something that I think is important to talk about in terms of the symbolism of the Kapala is we see in a number of paintings, both in Hinduism and Buddhism, of the Kapala holding blood, sacrificial blood or the blood of a demon. And it's good to remember that in the various scriptural stories, when the Divine Mother slays a demon, she's actually liberating this trapped energy within us. So something in our psyche that is holding us back. Divine Mother is that divine presence that frees that energy and transforms it. So egoism, for example, being transformed into compassion, greed into generosity, fear into courage. In rituals such as ours, the Kapala is sometimes used to hold offerings of wine, sometimes small dough cakes of rice flour as well. In one tradition, those dough cakes are in the shape of eyes. And really what this instrument represents then is the transformation of consciousness. And along those lines, so using instruments such as this in a ritual, or the kangling, the thigh bone trumpet, or flower petal offerings are in another Kapala bowl. This one is from Southeast Asia, and it's actually a circle cut from the forehead area. When we think about it, what is our greatest fear? Well, William Shakespeare said it very well in the famous soliloquy in the play Hamlet. I'll just quote a few lines from that. That fear of death, that undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the mind and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others we know not of. Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all. Our greatest fear is the fear of death, and that fear gets transferred to so many other aspects of our lives. From that ultimate fear, we fear change and we fear transformation. And that's one of the things that Kali helps us to do, is to have courage in the face of change, finding opportunity when there is loss. The Kapala is also the begging bowl of a group of ascetic monks called the Aguri. And that is the principal ritual tool of an Aguri, is a Kapala. There's an earlier group of monks, this dates back to about 500 years ago, called the Kapalika, or the skull carriers. And they're thought to be a precursor group to the modern Aguri. And we don't know very much about them. From the few writings we have, they're rather interesting. They were male priests and monks, and they traveled with a female companion. And from reading some of the information that is available, I've come to hypothesize that the early Kapalika may have been practicing a particular ritual called the Kali practice, in which a living woman is worshipped as an embodiment of the Divine Mother, a living murti. A murti, like our Kali image, is an object of devotion. Terms today is commonly used to refer to a devotional statuette. So something we're going to use in our meditation this evening is her dhyana, that is her ritual visualization. And the visualization we're going to use is describing Kali Kapalini as black, naked, beautiful face, disheveled hair, seated on 4 severed heads, showing a cleaver, a sword, a trident, and then 2 mudras, dispelling fear and bestowing boons. And these are the 2 mudras you typically see, both not just Kali, but several aspects of the Divine Mother displaying. Her yantra is very similar to the Kali yantra. I'm going to try and bring this up before the camera so you can see it. So there are 3 concentric triangles. The character in the center is the Bij mantra, or seed syllable Cream, and there are 8 lotus petals surrounding it. And on the next slide in the presentation, there's a description as to the meanings within the yantra. So there are three concentric triangles. The inner triangle represents the 3 points on that triangle, represents the powers of desire, action, and knowledge, or willing, action, and knowledge. These are 3 attributes to the divine in general. Isha Shakti, the power of will or desire, Jnana Shakti, the power of knowledge, and Kriya Shakti, the power of action. The middle triangle of 3 points represent Rati, goddess of love, Priti, associated with beauty, and Kanti, associated with light. And then the outer triangle, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasarasvati, or respectively the powers of creation, preservation, and destruction. The 8 lotus petals, like we see on this Kali yantra to the back of me, represent both 8 aspects of Lord Bhairab, that is Lord Shiva's wrathful aspect, so 8 forms of his wrathful aspect, and the 8 Matrika Devis, the Ashtamatrika Devi goddesses, who we recently finished a series on. And then the Bapura, which is the square pattern with 4 gates surrounding the yantra. Contained in that are 8 guardian deities called the Dikpala. These are old Vedic deities, really associated with natural forces and different aspects of life. So just for example, Lord Yama, the god of death, would be in the southern direction. Next to him to the southeast would be Agni, the god of fire. In the north, Kubera, the god of wealth, just to give some examples. And then part of our meditation will also be on her mantra. This is a rather lengthy mantra that we're going to do 27 repetitions of. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priye Manasye Kapala Siddhim Medei Hum Vat Svaha. Om is the essence of the universe, of the universal reality, the all-pervading consciousness of the divine. Hrim is a Bij syllable, a seed mantra, associated with the power of the Divine Mother. Krim is the seed syllable for Ma Kali. Kapalini, there's that name, skull carrier. And the next line, Maha Kapala Priye Manasye, roughly translates to great skull, beloved of the mind. Kapala Siddhim Medei, skull formed in perfection. Hum, Fat, are 2 protective syllables. And then Sva, there's a couple of translations too. It can mean, I am one with the divine, or to you we bow. This is one that's frequently expressed in fire pujas. So when we reach the puja, where we're chanting the mantra, I'm going to invite you to hold your image in your mind while we chant the mantra. Just let the vibrations of the mantra take your consciousness to where it needs to be at this moment. And we'll do a short silent meditation afterwards. Just taking a look at the screen. Looks like April is joining us, and Rafa and Susan are joining us. And everyone else out there, you're welcome to say a little hello on the chat function on the screen. And so to begin our practice tonight, I'd like to remember several people as part of our sankalpa,
part of our intention. So I've got a long list of people to remember that I would love to be blessed by the energies of tonight's puja. So tonight we are remembering Paul Ciancienti and his family. Paul recently passed away, so I want to remember him and his family. Friend Janet, whose father is in hospice care. I'd like to remember Anoop and his family in India. Abhishek, also of India. Our friends Andrew, Rafa, Susan and their family. Suzanne, Deborah, Thomas, Damien, Justin, Trish, April, Bryce, Amber, Kathy, and everyone else who's been associated with our temple since 2009. Also like to remember Nithya and Channing and the whole Shiva Sai Mandir community. And then also Jamie, Jacob, Estelle, Gail, and Homer. And in our opening meditation, you're invited to also make an intention for the resolution of some personal life issue, or to remember somebody who's close to you as well. And Alexis, namaste also. So to begin, I invite you to make yourself comfortable. Just find a comfortable seated position where you can sit and meditate for several minutes. Back straight. If sitting on the floor is not really working for you tonight, you're welcome to use a chair as well. But I invite you now to close your eyes and begin breathing deeply. Let the cares of the day and the cares of the week and the concerns of tomorrow drop away. Just let yourself have this time in the present to connect more deeply with the divine in whichever form that manifests for you. I invite you to focus your breath and your attention on your heart center. And there, just silently connect with that form of the divine that you're closest to. And if you have a personal intention for tonight's puja, I invite you to silently repeat that to yourself 3 times. And we acknowledge tonight that taking part in this puja is an important step toward the resolution of whatever it is in our lives where we have need. So I invite you now to bring the palms of your hands together
And we'll open our practice tonight by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale. Om. 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 Inhale and exhale. Slowly open your eyes. Jema. 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 Om. Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavistam Gatopiva Yashmare Pandarikaksham Sabhyabhyanta Sushi. Om Vakratunda Makaya Suryakoti Samabrahma Nirvignam Kurumudeva Sabakaryam Siddhi. Jai Ganesha. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Jai Guru. Om Trayambakam Yajamae Sagandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukameva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiya Mamrita. Om Namah Shivaya. Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishve Svadape Vishvam Tvamishora Devi Chachara Charasya. Jema Devi. Om Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shama Shiva Datri Svasvada Namostute. Jayatvam Devi Chamunde Jaya Bhutita Harini Jaya Sarvagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute. Jema Kali Jema Kapalini. Om Om. 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 Jema Kapalini. So I invite you now to sit comfortably and close your eyes. And once again, breathe deeply. In your mind's eye, I invite you now to envision yourself. You're outside. It's dark. There's a moon in the sky and a few stars. You're walking in darkness. And in the distance, you see a flame. You walk slowly toward that flame. And you realize as you become closer that you're approaching a cremation ground. And the flames that you saw from a distance are a funeral pyre. One who is deceased is being cremated upon a large pile of burning wood. You look down, and on the ground you see the occasional charred bone or funeral offering. And then appearing before you is the form of Kali Kapalini. Her skin is black. She is naked. And at first, you feel afraid, but then you look at her beautiful face and you see this very comforting expression. And your fears are suddenly dispelled. She has long, disheveled hair. She is seated upon 4 skulls. She's holding a sword and a trident. And you're further comforted by her 2 mudras, the upraised hand of dispelling fear and the lower pointing hand of bestowing boons. You sit before this image of the Divine Mother, and you begin to meditate upon her. And in your heart, you begin to feel the power of transformation, a power which becomes stronger and stronger with the chanting of our mantra. So I invite you to look upon this image of the Divine Mother and just let the power of the mantra take your consciousness to where it needs to be at this moment tonight. Om Reem Kreem Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasya Kapala Siddhi Mede Hum Fat Svaha. Om Hreem Kreem Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasya Kapala Siddhi Mede Hum Fat Svaha. Om Hreem Kreem Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasya Kapala Siddhi Mede Hum Fat Svaha. Om Hreem Kreem Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasya Kapala Siddhi Mede Hum Fat Svaha. Om Hreem Kreem Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasya Kapala Siddhi Mede Hum Fat Svaha. Om Hreem Kreem Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasya Kapala Siddhi Mede Hum Fat Svaha. Om Hreem Kreem Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasya Kapala Siddhi Mede Hum Fat Svaha. Om Hreem Kreem Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasya Kapala Siddhi Mede Hum Fat Svaha. Om Hreem Kreem Kapalini Maha Kapalya Priya Manasya Kapala Siddhi Mede Hum Fat Svaha. Om Hreem Kreem Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasya Kapala Siddhi Mede Hum Fat Svaha. Om Hreem Kreem Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasya Kapala Siddhi Mede Hum Fat Svaha. Om Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Klim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapala Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. Om Hrim Krim Kapalini Maha Kapala Priya Manasye Kapala Siddhi Me Dehi Om Fat Svaha. So allow yourself to just meditate now in stillness and in silence, feeling a force of transformation around you. Still envisioning the image of the Divine Mother, Kali Kapalini, You see the comforting expression upon her face. And in your meditation, she has a boon for you. She may hand you something or show you something. She may have a word or words for you. She may just give some comforting gesture or comforting touch. Whatever it may be, just accept it and know that her power is being given to you to help you in these days ahead. I invite you now to take a deep, clearing breath, thanking the Divine Mother, Kali Kapalini, for what she shared with you, knowing that her power is with you. I invite you to take another deep and clearing breath and just let go of the meditation and let your awareness return back to this time and this place. I invite you now to take another deep and clearing breath, bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center, slowly opening your eyes. Jai Ma Kali Kapalini. Om Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shama Shivadatri Svasvada Namostute Jaya Tvam Devi Chamunde Jaya Bhuti Taharani Jaya Sarvagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute Om Sava Mangala Mangalye Shiva Svada Sadike Saranye Triambake Devi Naryane Namostute Om Shanti 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 Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Mritagamaya Om Shanti 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 Om Sana Vavatu Sana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvidyavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Om Jai Ganesha Jai Guru Om Namah Shivaya Jai Ma Devi Jai Ma Kali Jai Ma Kali Kapalini Jai Mata Di Jai Mata Di Jai Mata Di Namaste. So I thank you very much for joining me this evening. Blessings always. Wish you a wonderful night. Wonderful few days ahead. I look forward to you joining me on Tuesday when we do our gentle yoga and third eye chakra meditation. Again, thank you all for being here. Blessings. Namaste. Jai Mata Di. Good night.